Righto crew, it's Chris O here, doing my 12-month review on a Y62. So I've had it for 12 months, obviously. It's Series 4, 2018, nice charcoal, gunmetal grey, sorry, Y62 Patrol. In case you're wondering, we're travelling from, where from baby? Palmerville Station near Maytown, after Old Coach Road on the base of Cape York Peninsula, down to Mount Mulgrave Station. Did I get that right? Yep. Anyway, rightio, Y62. The myth, the big myth, the first question everyone says, why are they so ugly? No, not true. It says, how much fuel do they use? They use bugger all fuel for a car that's so much fun with 400 horsepower. When it's brand new, out of the box, we took it for a drive. On the gauge, it said we were doing 10.1 litres per 100 down the highway, cruise control at 110, which 110 on the screen's actually only 100. So we just went from Gold Coast into Byron, so just up and down, basically a big M1, big motorway. It actually flicked down to 9.9 at some stage, litres per 100. Now that's pretty good. That is pretty good. But this is a stock standard off the showroom floor car. By the end of that day, we'd done a bit of mucking around in town, looking at some stuff and chilling. And it was, I think, was it 10.8 average for the day? It was still pretty good. Went home, filled it up to make sure the screen wasn't lying. The screen was pretty accurate to the speedo on the car. But, as I said, the speedos, like all cars, they're about 8 k's out at 100. So when you think you're doing 108 because the car tells you are, you're only doing 100. Righto, that's the fuel. While it was standard, we towed Karen's caravans, a 19-foot Junko, up to Sunny Coast from Gold Coast, up the highway, up some hills, down into Lake Catharaba. Averaged 15.8 on the way up, 16.3 on the way back. I presume that was wind or whatever. That was still stock standard. Towed a car trailer with a little race car on it down to Bathurst from the Gold Coast. Two extra blokes on board, all our gear, swags, camping gear, all the shit, all spare fuel, tyres, everything. Weighted at say $2,000 towing. We did average 15.3. Now that's not bad. It was sitting in 14 point something until we got to the climbing up the Blue Mountains and all that. But that's pretty good. So there's your fuel myths out of the way. Then you want to make your fuel economy worse, you add big tyres. I've just gone to a 34, which is 33.6, so 1 inch over standard, in a 305/65. I'm running BF Goodrich All-Trains KO2s, pretty good all-round tyre for touring. Them and extra 20mm offset, so I'm now, instead of plus 40, I'm plus 20. So if you when I say plus offset, I've moved them out, but it's they're now, yeah, were P40, now they're P20, and they sit beautifully to the side of the car. But that does add some extra fuel usage. 2 reasons. Number one, you're now doing more kilometres than your clock says. So now, when the clock says you're doing 110, you're actually doing about 106 or 7. I think when you put 35s on, it must read pretty well bang on. But so straight away you get extra apparent fuel usage because your speedo calculates it off your speed you're doing, and you're actually going faster than the car thinks you are because of the tyre size. Then I put a roof rack on. Empty roof rack, you had another litre per 100. Fill it up full of shit, probably another 2 litres per 100. More in a headwind. But when you're towing and you got all that, doesn't seem to make any difference. It's still around the 16 or 16-ish. So all that extra stuff doesn't matter. Doesn't seem to matter once you've got it all up to 100 k's an hour on the highway. It seems to still use that 16. What else I had to wreck the fuel economy? I put a bull bar on, ARB bull bar, real light. I've just gone to a basic, no fancy pipework, no big bars, nothing, just a basic bull bar for off-road use only. Don't care about roos. If roos going to hit it, a bar is going to save most of my damage. So just to keep the weight down, to stick with the 85 kilos. When you do that, the 85 kilos is what they allow you to put on the front of or what they tell you shouldn't go over on the front of in accessories on the front of a on the front of a 62. So it's got a bare bull bar and a Kmart rear bar, and I've now got side protection like rock runners, if you like, by a bloke in Yatla called Southern Cross Fabs. Very good product, $900 fitted, powder coated black. Stop yawning, baby, it's not boring. And then we've got, it's slippery. So adding that weight, and it takes a bit of air away from the car. Believe it or not, they're actually, I think, reasonably aerodynamic when they're stock for a big block of wood, big block of bezel block. By doing that, I'm now up to, I don't really see better than 14 on the highway, but I've always got shit on the roof, and when I got shit on the roof, I angle the solar panel up just to try and act as a bit of a windbreak, but it also then gets filthy and doesn't work real well. So anyway, there you go. That's the fuel side of the Y62. Rightio. The next bit of my 62 review is all the other stuff apart from fuel, because fuel seems to be the thing everyone asks about. Now we've got fuel out of the way. Righto. Pros. The general ride and comfort of this car is just ridiculous. It is so comfortable. We've just been up Cape York on the PDR and all the other roads that everyone says are crap, and well, actually we did nearly every truck up there, I think. So the comfort, perfect. I can't complain at all. Handles beautifully, so much so that it's fun to drive. It's literally fun to drive, even on the shitty corrugated roads that everyone's whinging about. Whee! There's an example. And with the all-wheel drive and whatever it does, the leveling hydraulic suspension, which this model has, it is just a fun car. You drive it around, I don't know, like the all-wheel drive setup is similar to old GTRs. It just brings in the front wheels when it needs it. So as you sort of boot it, you got to basically, if you power through corners, it just seems to pull the car through corners. Very good, I reckon, well-designed car. Fun, fun, fun. What's next? Has it got any downsides? Let's go to downsides. Well, you could say fuel economy, but I'm not going to say that because we're travelling with guys in TD42s on this whole trip, and I'm within a litre per 100 of their cars. And we've got a Barra Turbo GU, which is, say, 1 or 2 litres more than this. So it's actually not a bad car either. We've got a Navara with us, who's averaging 16, which is, I think our overall average is about 17 or 18 now. The worst part of it was obviously the teletrack, going slow, and Old Coach Road. But the rest of the car, we got the interior comfort, great. The rooms, got heaps of rooms, no dramas there. I pulled the back rail seats out and put a storage system in to make it a bit more user friendly. But back to the actual car itself, the only faults I would give it from a standard car, or from my point of view, is the fact that you've got very ordinary throttle control in low range. So if you're going up a big long bumpy hill, the throttle control is a little bit annoying. It feels like it's bouncing on and off, which is just annoying. A lot of cars are like that. Apparently there's a little gadget you can buy to fix that, but I'm getting used to it, so it doesn't matter. And the only other thing that annoys me is the bloody handbrake, or the foot brake, the park brake. It's a foot one, and the book says, oh, if it's more than 7 clicks, it needs adjusting. Well, I reckon after it's adjusted, it lasts about 2 weeks or 20 operations. It needs adjusting again. So that's actually driving me balmy. Like, I shouldn't have to adjust a handbrake halfway through this trip. ABS? Oh yeah, in the ABS. There you go. The girls just said the ABS. That's the other thing that annoys me. I will probably put a switch in that. Don't know if I'm allowed to or not, because on gravel, the ABS is dangerous. If you need to wipe off a heap of speed because there's a washout coming up and you went too fast because you're having fun, you usually plant the brakes, it just digs in, slows down, wipes a heap of speed off. Not with ABS it doesn't. You've got to really control your braking, or the ABS just sends you flying. It just doesn't know what it's doing on gravel, and off you go. On the road it's a great thing, wet road's a great thing, not on gravel. So I'll be doing something about switching that off on gravel. As soon as I get on the gravel, I turn the traction control off, which I just noticed was actually still on, because you'll go through one of these corners and you go, oh, that's a bit slippery than I thought. You'll go to put the throttle down a bit, and the ABS, I mean the traction control, just starts taking power away, and that's really unnerving. It just launches the car through the corner. So that's not a complaint. You can turn it off. So that's easy. What other complaints? Nothing. People whinge about the diff lock, but it operates in low range at anything under 7 kilometers an hour, which to me, you back off, you hit the diff lock button, next minute it comes on, and off you go. So that's not a problem. Just pulling to the right. I might have got a tyre down a bit, I think. Way back. What other complaints, Karen? Oh, people also say the fuel doesn't always fill all the way to the brim because it's got a 2-tank system with just a bleeder pipe between them, and when you fill it up from dead empty, it takes too long to fill the other tank through this dribble hose. I don't know. I filled mine up from empty and put 131 litres in, so that's pretty good, I reckon. Anyway, what other problems? Nothing. It's just all good. Great fun car to drive. Off-road ability. There's actually a video coming out on AB's off-road of our trip up the Cape, which is all the only footage I've got in car. His is all the outside the car footage, and it actually shows a couple of hills we did with this thing. Just walks up, no dramas at all. Did everything up Teletrack, no dramas. Nolan's, Pump Creek. Didn't do the, I won't say the original gunshot because it's not. Didn't do the hard gunshot, purely because the car doesn't fit. It's ground out perfectly for GUs and that with minus 22, I think they are. The wheels. This physically didn't fit, so I didn't do it. I heard at Bamaga Auto that one got repaired after going through there, and it stuffed up all these front suspension arms or something, or bent something. And I think I measured 75 mil. GU was tight, and this is 75 mil wider at the wheels. So anyway, didn't do that. I can't think of any other complaints. Everything I can think about is good. It tows well. Everyone who comes to ride it just says, wow, how comfortable is this car? It is ridiculously quiet inside. Well, I'm now just on gravel driving, so we'll see what it sounds like afterwards. But very quiet, especially in standard form. The roof rack makes it noisy. The Rhino rack, it's just wind noise, but you're so used to it being quiet that you notice that. Even overall, the corrugations on the PDR, and if you beat up the PDR, whee, you'll know what I'm talking about. The corrugations, we were still having a conversation like this in the car and listen to music, no dramas at all. Dust seals are all good, no dust seems to get in. Your viewing position from the car, don't know how they've done it, it doesn't feel like a big car. When you're driving around, even around town, whatever, it doesn't feel like a big car. And for parking, there's a little camera comes on the dash, and the little cameras underneath your wing mirrors actually show you, you can see the lines as well as the cars beside you. So you drive into a car park, just looking at your screen, and it makes that easy as well. Not that I use this car around town. I bought this car for travelling and touring, and I generally run around town in the shitbox, which is a GQ Ute. Handling brilliant, fuel's fine, room in the back. If anything, the white interior is a bit annoying because I throw a lot of shit in the back and throw all blokes' gear in the back, and we camp like blokes. So I'm probably going to keep this for a long time because my resale won't be very good. In the that was fun. The resale won't be that good with my interior being a bit grubby. No dust gets in, but it's just us being slack and bumping it with gear, and I'll probably improve my storage system to help that. So white interior is a little bit annoying. Seating position, perfect. We're going on Coach Road. We want to go up the hills or up a tricky bit. I just lifted a lever on the side of my seat, lifts the seat up, seems like about 40 mil or whatever, and you get really good visibility. So I go up and forward really easily without having to muck around with levers. And this is only the TI, not the TIL. So this is the poverty pack for Australia. 68 grand. I think they're cheaper in Western Australia. What else, Karen? What else sucks about it? Anything? I don't think much sucks, though. It's just a good, fun touring car. I know when you go extreme, right? So I've got a GQ Ute as well. If you go extreme off-roading, I sort of think there's going to be a few hold-ups because it's not solid axles, but I'll tell you what, at the moment, it's probably mainly just ramp over angle because it's a long car. Oops, sorry about that. Because it's a long car, you know, it's not as good as a GU, GQ, whatever, off-road. you know, over the rocky stuff, but it's not a rock crawler, don't care. Having said that, it's a shorter wheelbase than a Navara dual cap D40, which is what I had before. There you go. The traction control system on this thing is brilliant off-road. You whack it in low, push the buttons if you want, but I put it in low and I just leave it in normal mode. And you go up loose hills or whatever. It actually works better if you crawl. If you start trying to go too quick, you notice the traction control working. If you go slow, it does it that quickly and sorts it out. You don't really even feel much going on. It just, wheels come off the ground, you hear a bit of clunk clunk noises as the brakes lock up or whatever they do, and it just drives. It is a good thing. Obviously off-road, the body width is a little bit of an issue because all the cars are narrower. The wheelbase being wider is a good thing. Stability, plus quite often you're on the edge of the ruts, which means you get a bit more drive. I'll check my front right tyre, I think, Karen. Oh, I can do that. I'm just going to check, I said I was going to stop and check tyre pressure. I don't have to do that. I'll push the button on the dash. Nah, it says I've got 32 pounds in the front right tyre. So there you go, another good thing about the car. A lot of the stuff on the screen's pretty dumb, but the tyre gauge is actually good. It's got little modes on it, sand mode, rock mode, all that. I've used rock mode a few times because I think it makes the traction control react quicker. But I get slack, I just put it in low and just keep on going. Other problems? I don't know why at the moment, but my steering wheel's pulling to the right. No idea why it's doing that. Hey, dip. I wish it had barn doors. If I had my way, this would have a GQ body on it. It'd be this car but with a GQ body, so it was narrower and squarer. Great off-road. Oh, I've got a gate, bub. Fuck, that means we end up at the back. No, fuck, this person can. Righto. That's my review, I'm done. Car's good. I'd buy one again tomorrow. Love it.